This
notes I
conference
had.
will now be recorded.
Hi, everybody. Welcome and good evening for joining us this evening for the first virtual drop-in counseling session. We're very excited. Some people have been working very hard to get us to this point. On behalf of the Mayor, Marty Walsh, we want to say congratulations for taking the first steps that you needed to and taking your Home Buying 101 class. For anybody that's on this call right now, we've got about 15 participants here and have not taken your home buying class yet. We would suggest going to our webpage, homecenter.boston.gov. When you go there, you'll be able to see a link that says First Time Homebuyer Help. And from there, you click on it and scroll down, and you'll see the nonprofit partners. Let's see, I have something coming up in the chat. Will people be able to watch the recorded video later? Christine McCrory, can you answer that, please?
We would have to, hopefully, we will have to see if we can get it put on the web page or something, or our YouTube page. So we're hoping that's the purpose of us trying to record it now so that we'll be able to use it in the future, but we'd have to check with our marketing people about that.
Okay, so the other part of that I think is, will folks be able to see it first if they had any concerns? Because of media or anything like that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, they said thank you, so hopefully that helped you with the answer to that. So our nonprofit partners can be found on homecenter.boston.gov. And you'd scroll down, and that's where you'd find it. What we'd like to do at this moment as well is introduce the team from the Boston Home Center Department of Neighborhood Development that are on the call with us. So we have the gal that I keep referring to as Christine McCrory, my senior program manager, Sandra Carrera, program manager, Jeff Alkins, program manager, and my name is Christine Sullivan, and I'll be walking us through the brief presentation and then introducing you all to our special guest, a loan officer by the name of Renee Owens. Renee is calling in, so you won't see her photo, but she'll be able to hear you. This is a whole new process for us, as a lot of things in life are probably new for everyone right now. We have been actually looking towards doing classes like this anyway to reach a lot more constituents, especially in, COVID, prior to COVID-19 and now in spite of COVID-19. So if we have technical difficulties, please be patient with us. We would also say, don't worry about that. We can reach out to you because you registered for the class and you got the email. So we'll be able to reach out to you. We also want to let you know that right now everybody will be muted because of background noises and things of that nature. So I can see the questions as they come up. I can answer them that way, and then we'll unmute everybody at the end. So if you have a moment and have a pen and a piece of paper that's not far from you, I'd say go grab it, write down your questions as they come up, and we want to make the best use of this time for everyone. Pardon me?
I might have muted you originally. I had to go back out.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, you're fine now. Let me just get the presentation back. Hold on.
Okay. See, this is how we're going to do it. But we'll get through it, everybody. Can you hear me, Christine?
Yep.
Okay, great. So if during any time, again, this is like the name says, a drop-in counseling. So if any time you have to leave, by all means, you can do that, and then just send us any questions that you didn't get answered this evening. We do respond. You might have seen some of the mayor's commercials that say we're still here, and we are. We've been working remotely, and we reach out to folks, and we do reach out in a timely fashion. We recognize the process will continue to change, as we evolve in this new environment, we will change with that. We don't know what it all is going to look like yet, but this is a start. And we just want you to know again that the mayor is committed to serve the constituents of the city of Boston. We are providing an outline this evening of the next steps. And then again, I can't stress it enough, questions will be at the end, but if questions are not answered that suit your personal situation, send us an email, give us a call. Then lastly, we may not have the answers to all your questions this evening, but we'll research and someone on the team will get back to you. We've also, at this point too, if you can all understand, we have a lot of people on this call, so we'll leave it to general questions, but specifics and more help that you may need, you can get back to us and we will walk you through that. Now on with the presentation. All right, Christine. So we did the welcome, we did the introductions, and now, oh, what happened to my agenda?
I thought we already went through it.
Okay, so the welcome and introductions and some of the housekeeping, if you will. We're going to go over some of the Boston Home Center programs and classes, how to find them and what to do. We'll have an overview of the home buying process and then meet your home buying team members. So again, the member tonight that you'll meet besides the Boston Home Center is Renee Owens. Next slide, please. The Boston Home Center is a one-stop shop for all the programs that we're offering, where you learn how to buy a home, where you learn how to repair a home, and how to retain a home. When you buy a home, our programs for first-time home buyers in the city of Boston through the lottery process. You can also buy a property in the city of Boston that's not a lottery. Then after you purchase, you may find through the Boston Home Center, there's support for you as well if you bought an older home and it needed repairs. And then something that folks are always concerned about, what if I lose my job? How do I hold on to my home? We have a foreclosure prevention unit. And I know that's, something nobody ever wants to think about when you're excited about getting into a home, but we can't control everything. And so we want you to know that we're there to support you then too. Next slide, please. All those services are free, by the way. We would normally have, and we had it set up for March, but had to cancel what they call the Spring Expo. We don't know what will happen in the fall. We have a fall fair. Our website will always be updated with the information as far as that. But we will continue to have lenders that we work with. You'll find them, their name, and how to reach them on our website, homecenter.boston.gov. And then we'll also have guest speakers come in that are realtors that work with first-time home buyers. So the whole goal as far as that is, in those big events, which will now probably be smaller for a little bit, is to get you familiar with who the players are in the process and how to build your confidence moving with your next steps. If you buy in the city of Boston, there's a program called Financial Assistance Program. We'll have a couple of slides on that. Another thing on our Home Center webpage that's free is the Boston Homebuyer Club. I would suggest when you go to our webpage, signing up for that. That will keep you in the loop for anything that we have coming up. The Home Neighborhood Housing Initiative, that's the mayor's program called the NHI, and we'll touch base on that as well. Next step, please. How do you meet the lenders and the realtors? Well, previously it had been through the two big events I talked about, but now as we move forward, there probably will be maybe podcasts or maybe little infomercials. We're working that all out, but anything that we are involved in will always be on our site, homecenter.boston.gov. We can't speak to what people are putting in other things, but if you want to know what we're doing, how to safely purchase a new home and repair and retain, we would suggest going there. We're always looking for lenders that provide a commitment to first-time home buyers with their mortgage products and with their service. We do the same with the realtors that we work with. The realtors, when we have them present at the events, We always ask that they bring listings that they may have in the city of Boston. The questions that you may have are also answered through these two groups. We're the facilitator, if you will. Our goal is education and counseling, and then bringing the team together for you to build your own team is what the goal is, because everybody may have their own little need or want that they need to satisfy for safety and health for them and their families. The financial assistance program helps with down payment and or closing costs, and we have a slide on that. Next slide, please. Financial assistance. So that was the other slides were an overview of what we're going through. If you thought of a question, I can see the chat, you can set it up. But now we're going into financial assistance, what that program actually is. So the Boston Home Center is lucky enough to have different sources of funding that they can help somebody with possibly up to 5% of the sales price, and the funds would go towards down payment and or closing costs. So what kind of properties would that be? It would be a condo, a single, or a two-family, and 3-unit properties. The buyer benefit to you, because you'd be the home buyer, you'd get a mortgage at 0% interest. It's a deferred loan. We've always had a mortgage on the home, but it used to be a grant. It no longer is. And so we're going to go over in a couple of more slides on what that looks like. And the only time that's paid back is when you sell, refinance, or transfer the property. So if you were to stay there till the day you die, those funds wouldn't be paid back until you die. I know I'm doing my will, so you think about all these things. So there's no monthly payment, but again, it's an opportunity to take advantage of resources that are there for you and your down payment and or closing costs. Next slide, please. First-time home buyers. So the program eligibility, and what does that look like? So an applicant looking to purchase cannot own a property in the past 3 years. For financial assistance only, that is what is considered first-time home buyer. You need to have graduated the Homebuying 101 class, which some of you have already done. You need to be able to obtain a mortgage from a participating lender. We have a complete list, again, as I said at the beginning, of them on our webpage, and how to contact them. So we're not here to tell you you have to use our participating lenders when you go to get your mortgage. What we are saying is if you think you're going to apply for financial assistance, you do need to work with them. We've got big banks, small banks, credit unions, boutique banks, so there should be something there for everyone. We would also say to look to speaking to at least 3 of the lenders so you have an idea of who you want to work with. The property has to be in the city of Boston, and it has to be your primary resident. We will be coming up on a map in the presentation, so we'll go over that. But again, the properties that we assist with are condos, singles, 2 families, and 3s. What do I need as a buyer as far as money into the transaction? You need to contribute at least 1.5% of the purchase price. And for anybody out there that hasn't talked to a lender yet, you might be saying, what purchase price? Well, you and your lender will see what you qualify for. That assistance or that amount of commitment from you needs to be 1.5 for a condo, a single, or 2. Should you think about buying a 3-family, you need to have a bigger commitment into the transaction, and that requires 3% of your own funds. You cannot have more than $75,000 in liquid assets. That's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, checking, savings. Buyer's household cannot be more than 120% of the area median income. That chart you will find on our application, which can be found on our website. Whoever just joined, we do want to make you aware that this is being recorded, and it could be used for training purposes. So if you do not want your camera on, now is your opportunity to turn it off. We also have the chat option because we're muting everybody. So if you have a question on a slide that comes up, feel free to send us the chat. Otherwise, we'll unmute everybody at the end. And thank you for joining us. So that's a snapshot or just a couple of slides to explain or start the conversation on what financial assistance is. This next slide you'll see are actual homes in our lottery program, which is very exciting. Next slide. So the program is called NHI Lottery Program. And the mayor, when he first became mayor, came up with the Housing Initiative 2030. And a lot of people think that, you know, I can't afford to buy in Boston. Well, maybe you need to rethink that and just get to find out through going through the sessions that we have, whether that's fact or not, right? Everybody wants to check their facts. Well, we think we can do something or not do something, but until we actually investigate and explore and ask questions, then you won't know. So there's a question that came up before I go to the rest of that slide. Do you have to be a Boston resident to be eligible? For our NHI property, lottery program, there is a Boston preference. Anybody can submit an application, but ours will have a Boston preference first. We've had people outside the city that do end up purchasing for other reasons if somebody didn't want that. So thank you, great question. You only have to submit one application to us. That can be found on our webpage. We're actually very excited about, you know, paper and sending the application in and waiting. That is in the process of changing. Any updates would be found on our webpage, Home Center, and you know, things will stop being electronically. But there's, you know, if somebody can't do that, there'll be other options as well with the snail mail. But we really are encouraging folks to take a look at our website. So once that one application is in and you're deemed income eligible, you'll be in every lottery that you have a pre-approval for. So our, you know, a lot of folks will send in a flyer saying that they want to be in the lottery for this particular street. Well, you would not only be in this particular street, but you would be in any other lotteries that your pre-approval state you can be in. It's newly construction, single family, two families. Previously, we hadn't done a lot of condos, but we've had some townhomes in the past and such. So again, I would always suggest take a look at our website. They are going to be moderately priced. They're not going to be a giveaway, but you know, when we look at what's being sold out on the market. Hi, Sandra, did you have a question? Something came up in the chat. Okay, that might be an error. For anybody wanting to know what the city of Boston looks like, that map can be found on our webpage. So we get a lot of calls. People are looking to purchase in Suffolk County, but it's not part of the city. And that can be confusing. So that's why we put the map there. Oh, Sandra, you answered the question about the down payment. Thank you. I was misunderstanding, thought it was lottery. Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I was just adding to it, actually, not answering.
No, I appreciate that. See, that's why Sandra's on the call, just to keep me in line, just like she does in the office. One of the exciting things on that last slide, we said that they're new homes. And as you can see from this picture, this is actual inside of one of the homes that the developer had developed through our lottery process. Had some nice high-end finishes, and I love the lights. A nice, clean, fresh look. Next. So for those of you that saw the other slide about financial assistance, and we stated that the income could go up to 120% of the area median income, that chart looks different. What you will note is that our program for the lottery is either 80 or 100% of the area median income. So that's why you'll see at this 100%, we put this chart, it will look different. You don't really need to get hung up on the numbers and what it looks like until you're actually moving forward on something. So for example, if you couldn't qualify for the lottery, you could still qualify for down payment maybe. So those are all the things that you just need to continue to explore and see what works. Okay, we have another question. Is it possible to apply to the general NHI lottery online now, or is it currently only via paper application? Great question. So it is not an online application. However, you can print out the application, complete it, provide your supporting documentation, and then you can scan it and send it to our secure email folder. Oh, thank you, Sandra. That's exactly what I was saying.
I'll keep an eye on the chats, Christine and
Okay,
Nancy.
do you want to you want to do that, Sandra? And we'll go like that.
Yep. That way you don't have
Okay.
to do both things at the same time.
Okay. Wonderful. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you. So not everybody has a scanner, just to say, Jillian, which is why applications will still be looked at. But that process is a little bit slower. We are working remotely. We're only going in the office occasionally. So if possible, work with your loan officer if you don't have a scanner to get the application in. So for our program, NHI, again, anybody that was with us at the beginning, financial assistance slide looks a little bit different. For NHI, you have to be a first-time home buyer, never owned, not in another state, not anywhere. The Homebuying 101 class is still required. We would recommend anybody on this call this evening that has not taken the class, we would suggest you do that, because that will put some of what we're talking about right now a little bit more in perspective for you. 30-year fixed rate mortgages are what going to be offered through the participating lenders. And, you know, Renee will talk a little bit about what that means. One of the things, too, to keep in mind, if you took your class, there's some language that you'll see on our slides that's also in your book. So the book is a great tool to help you stay on track as well. The household size requirement on our lottery is the number of bedrooms -1. So the Boston reference residency preferences there, and the household preferences is one person per bedroom. So at the end of the day, if you had a family of 3, children will count as a household member. Then you'd be able to at least get that 3-bedroom, even though it's maybe a couple along with the child. Christine McCrory, did you want to add anything to that?
Nope.
Okay. So how do we, the Boston Home Center, how can we keep you on track? So what's going to happen is you're either going to typically be on the 6 to 12-month track, or you'll be on the 1 to 2 year track. And anybody that has signed up for the Home Buyer Club, you had to answer that question. So you took the class, and maybe you're not ready right now because there was credit that you needed to work on, or savings. So that would determine how that piece could work. But then you may also be tied into a lease or something like that, so you know it's at least a year. So your situation is going to be different. It's up to you to decide, you know, how quickly you need to do this. Rates are still low. Pricing, you know, is anybody's guess. All of this, you know, even prior to COVID-19, you know, we don't have a crystal ball. So we say the sooner you get started, the sooner you know what you need to do is the best. So how do we keep in touch? We want to keep in touch with you and remain successful homeowners, right? So once you become a homeowner, we want you not to forget about our homeowner programs. There's homework help, there's senior home repair, there's Let's Say. If you bought an older home prior to 1976, likely it has lead unless there's a de-leading certificate on the property. And so we have a program that can help with that. When you're a homeowner, anything can happen. You know, we've been through cycles like this before, and we have a foreclosure prevention unit. Our services are free. And so we always say, if you buy in the city of Boston, give us a call. Even if you didn't buy in the city of Boston, we may be able to give you a resource in the town that you bought in, and you can make the best decision for you and your family regarding whether to stay in the home or sell the home. For us, in our programs, we feel very strongly about education and counseling. So when you buy a home, you have all this support. Now you get in the home and you're like, where is everybody? What do I do? I'm a first-time home buyer. We work with Maha on the Homeowner 201. That class normally will take place, or you need to register to take place within 6 months of your closing. Some people take it ahead of time. That's okay. It helps with budgeting now that you're a homeowner, and how to hire a contractor and things of that nature, just to keep you, you know, on building your team and your support. next.
Oops, sorry.
So I've been saying what our website is. There it is. That's our telephone number. The telephone number, even though we're working remotely, is answered every day. So if somebody's saying, hey, nobody's getting back to me, you will most likely get a call back. It will be a blocked number. So one of the obstacles is some people have a blocked number and we can't get back to them. We will try, but that's one of the obstacles. So what I'm going to do now is we can open it up for any other questions, or we can continue to do the chat. I think we could continue to do the chat and introduce Renee, and then that way if somebody needed anything on the lender.
All right, it's not letting me unmute everybody. Oh, sorry. Let me unmute. Sorry. All right. I don't know why. It's not letting me unmute. Hold
Chris,
on.
I think they can unmute themselves if they wanted to ask a question. Could you hear
Okay.
me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so they probably can unmute themselves if they have a question. Or put it through the
When it's
chat.
a question, Renee will speak. Somebody keeps saying I'm muted, so you're definitely not muted because we hear you.
I'm sorry.
Hello? Okay. I don't see any questions coming through to us. So why don't we, did I cut somebody
Hello?
off?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, because I can't see. I called in. Can I just have the number?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
617
pardon me. My
617
apologies.
635 4663. It's the home center number.
See, this is why all of this is important. That will be on my next one to remember that in the future. The website is homecenter.boston.gov. We
And
will
I
have
one more question.
yes.
I took the class a while ago, and I'm a lot further in my process. Like I'm already looking and have a realtor and been approved, but I called you guys about how do I get the assistance help, and I really haven't gotten like any clear answer. And the loan officer was helpful, but I'm still kind of stuck in this place where they thought you guys weren't doing it, and when I called, nobody answered me.
Okay. Was that just this week or the end of last week? Yeah. So I did call you back and I provided our website page because the application for down payment and our closing costs is on there.
Okay, so there is an application. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. And you need to be purchasing in the city of Boston.
I am.
Okay.
And also make sure you have an accepted offer when you apply.
Okay. So it has to happen after, because I haven't picked one yet. I've only looked at one.
You'll need to have an accepted offer.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think what we'll do at this time is mute everybody again. And what I'd like to do is introduce you to one of our external team members with a lot of experience in the mortgage piece of this whole process. And her name is Renee Owens. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you.
Take it away, girl.
Okay, so my name is Renee Owens. I work for Rockland Trust, and I am the Community Development Officer. I have been in the business for over 30 years, and I have always worked at lenders that have been participants with the City of Boston. Now that you've completed your first-time homebuyer class, and it's good that you put together a team of people that you feel comfortable with and talking to and asking questions, you should have hopefully a lender, a realtor, possibly an attorney, and a home inspector. Before you make an offer on a house, I would strongly recommend that you meet with a couple of lenders. And if you're definitely looking at accessing money from the City of Boston, it should be from the City of Boston's participating lender list. There are approximately 28 lenders on that list, and you should be able to sit down with any of them and go over numbers. I think it's very important that before you go out and start looking at houses, you need to know what you can afford. And it's a perfect opportunity to ask about the mortgage products. There are several first-time homebuyer mortgage products, one being the One program and also Mass Housing. And those two programs are very good programs to work with the City of Boston if you're planning on using their financial assistance program. It's important that you sit with several lenders and talk to them and see who knows about the programs until you find someone that's comfortable, that you're comfortable with. Second, you should, at that point, once you've made a decision as to which lender you want to go to, I would recommend that you get a pre-approval. Now, a pre-qualification is just sitting and going over your numbers, looking at your paperwork, seeing that your bank ready, sitting with someone to help you tweak everything so that when you apply, you will be successful. Second option is doing the pre-approval. This is you're getting pre-approved based on your information and your information alone. That's without a property. That means they're looking at your tax returns for the last 3 years, and you will have to submit them. They want 4 pay stubs, 2 months bank statements, and I typically will ask for your certificate, or some places don't give you the certificate, like the nonprofits, they'll give you a letter saying you completed the class. Most pre-approvals are good for 60 to 90 days. You do not have to do more than 1 pre-approval. I would not recommend that you go to 2 or 3 lenders. 1 is sufficient. Now, once you've gotten your pre-approval, you can then go out and look at properties. Some realtors won't take you out until you have one. Or if you want to apply for the City of Boston's lottery, you can apply with your pre-approval. It is one of the items on their list of their application for submitting an application. Once your pre-approval expires, so if it expires after 90 days, you do not have to keep running out and getting a new one. There is no need to have your credit pulled continuously, because then it makes it look like you're applying for a loan all over the place. It's not necessary. Once is enough. So once you find a property, your loan officer can assist you with your application for the financial assistance program if that's what you want to do. I like to help my customers put their package together. It's a lot of information. And if it needs to be scanned to the city, I can also assist with that. Your loan officer should be a good resource for you and part of your team. You should not feel that you can't ask a question. You should be able to ask all the questions because they are a participant with the city and can help you navigate their system and the bank system. Hopefully, at the completion of your pre-approval and your offer on a property, you will be a homeowner. Is there anything else that you would like for me to cover? Would you like to talk about the mortgage products?
It was a question. There was a question earlier, Renee. I mean, the down payment program. The city can talk a little bit about that. If our constituent needed further explanation. The other question that folks were asking about at the beginning was a little bit about mortgage products. So whoever had that question, do you need more information? You can put it in the chat, or Christine, is everybody unmuted at this moment?
They have to unmute themselves, I think, to talk.
Okay. So whoever
Okay.
had the
You know,
question,
Oh, I think you guys might be talking about me. Sorry.
okay, no, that's great. So you had a question about down payment.
No, that was me, Christine. That was me, Stephanie.
Oh, okay, Stephanie.
I,
So,
when I, yeah, I asked about how much money really do we need to have of our own? I mean, give an example, if that's
okay,
possible.
so I can. So if, let's say, you were buying a house that is 200,000 and your down payment would be 3% under the one program or mass housing. So 3% of 200,000 would be 6. So your portion that you would have to put into this out of your pocket would be 1.5 or $3,000. Then you would apply for the city's money, and the city's money you would probably be eligible from anywhere from 3 to 5% of the purchase price. So you put your 1.5, we get 1.5 from the city, and then the other 1.5 can go toward closing costs. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Could you
great
put
question.
more?
Thank you.
Could you put more down
Yes.
than 3%? Yes.
Okay. Just because I was
Most
asking the
most
same question.
first-time home buyer programs, the minimum for their programs are a 3% down. Of that 3%, 1.5 has to come from the buyer. So it needs to be in the bank when you apply, say for your pre-approval or for your mortgage. It needs to have been in the bank for at least 2 months. And that is why we ask for bank statements. We want to see that you've had this money.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could piggyback on that, so if you're going through our lottery or through getting down payment and a closing cost from the city, we do have a maximum of $75,000 liquid assets. So it's something to keep in mind when folks want to put more down. So if somebody was purchasing, one of the newer homes, or even a resale, an affordable resale, well, actually, the resale you can have $100,000 liquid asset, but everything else is 75,000.
The first-time home buyer mortgage product, say the one program, for instance, if you have more than $75,000 in liquid assets, you cannot have that program. Most first-time home buyer programs will either have a cap on assets or income based on family size. So it's important when you sit down with someone and do a pre-qualification. I advise customers to bring their either literature from the class or make a list of questions and find out all the particulars about the program. It's not going to fit everybody. Not everybody's going to fit, say, the one program. Some people may fit the mass housing program, or not everybody's going to fit based on income. So you want to look at the differences between the two programs, and you make the best choice for you and your family between the programs.
Renee, a lot of the time, folks go through this process and they might have to purchase outside the city, or maybe their job changed and they decide to do that, but they're a first-time home buyer still. Can they still work with you?
Yes. Rockland Trust, we do the one program and mass housing across the state. The city of Boston has the financial assistance program, and some of the other towns have some type of financial assistance programs as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Renee, I didn't get your full name again. Can you repeat that?
My full name is Renee Owens, and I am the Community Development Officer at Rockland Trust. I'm going to give you my phone number. My phone number is 781-603-2802. My email address is Renee, and that's RENEE .Owens, OWENS, at rocklandtrust.com.
Can I
And
just, sorry, go ahead, Renee.
I'm sorry. I am located local. I am in Boston. I'm in the Hyde Park office on River Street.
Okay, thank you.
Um, when
Welcome.
Renee was talking about how you should compare mortgage products, I just thought I'd tell you about a website that might be helpful to you. It's mymassmortgage.org. It has mortgage qualifying calculators, and it allows you to kind of compare the MHP mortgage and a mass housing mortgage, and it might also give you some information about like the cost of an FHA loan. It's just kind of like something you can get on and sort of play with different scenarios so that you can see, you know, what you might be able to afford. You know, it's just a calculator tool, but it does give you some comparisons. So you might want to, so it's mymassmortgage.org.
Does that give you ratios too on there?
I haven't been on it for a while, but I'm not sure it does. I think it'll tell you whether you're
Okay.
qualified for which one, and then it kind of compares the costs associated with them.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's run by Chapter or somebody.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jillian. I have a question for, I think it was Renee that brought this up, but someone mentioned that you have to get a pre-approval for the NHI lottery, a mortgage pre-approval, but that pre-approval can expire and it's not necessary to keep reapplying. I was just
Correct.
wondering if you win the lottery, then do you have to reapply for a pre-approval then, if your pre-approval expired?
Well, then, as long as nothing has changed financially for you, at that point, when you go in, they either want a updated pre-approval, or at that point, if you win and you sign your reservation agreement, then you go right into your mortgage and you apply for your financing. You flip it from a pre-approval to a regular loan in
That's
whichever
exactly what
mortgage
I was
product that you're.
So Jillian, for us, the minute that happens, there's a whole process that goes through it. But Sandra typically will work with the folks that are going to register or reserve a unit, and she will start the conversation, like updated pay stubs, updated assets. The biggest thing is, like Renee said, is normally you'd be going right into a mortgage application. But if anything has changed, you would know that. And so at that point, we would, you need to decide, can I move forward at this time or not? So just keep that in mind with the scenarios that we have going on right now. Meaning if somebody got laid off, we have some buyers that are actually making more money on the industry they're in. So it's a fine balancing act. Sandra, did you want to add anything to that?
Sorry about that. I unmuted myself again. To Jillian's question, just keep in mind that there are other agencies like BPDA that does lotteries. What we're saying as a requirement for our process is just the D&D's process. So if you've applied for other lotteries that were through BPDA or through another agency that marketed those units, you'd have to find out from them what their requirements are as far as updating pre-approvals and things like that. We typically, yes, if we offer you a unit, we want to make sure that you're still bankable. And we want to make sure you still are going to be eligible to purchase the unit. So we will require you to provide us an updated pre-approval if it's one that's expired for a longer than probably 3 months. But yes, so if you applied through another agency, just be aware that you might just want to check with them what they want as far as a requirement. We tend to be strict about our process only because if we put you in our lottery and we offer you a unit, we want to make sure that you're eligible to buy it. Other programs, other agencies might require the very minimum to get you in the lottery. We require, we want to make sure that you're actually ready to purchase when you get into our lottery and are eligible. So BPDA might be a little bit looser with what they require. So always check with whoever the agency is that you apply through and see what they require. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
I think that's a great reminder, Sandra, the fact that there are other lotteries that will be out there. And one of the things I think I like best about our program is the fact that you're going to be more ready to, be able to move forward quickly because it's like gambling. And you're not holding up yourself or other folks on moving forward. The other part of this too, it just reminded me, we have, you'd be in the lottery for up to a year. And so, that's a lot of time to be able to figure out like, oh, is this still the area I want to be in? And next thing you know, Jillian, you're offered a unit and you don't like it. It doesn't meet your needs for whatever the reasons are. That's okay. You wait for the unit that, meets your family needs and such, but it's okay. So don't think like, oh, this is, whatever the obstacle might be for you, that if I don't take it, I'll never get chosen again. That's not the case. Stay in the lottery.
Just in light of what they were just talking about, the other good resource, if you haven't signed up for the Metro list, that is the list that resales are listed on, other lotteries, our lotteries are listed there. So it's a good resource so that you are aware of other opportunities other than the NHI program that might be available. So if you just go to the boston.gov and put in the search engine Metro list, you can sign up for that. Generally, they send that out every week or every couple of weeks. It has both rental and home ownership opportunities, but it also sometimes occasionally people who are reselling an affordable deed restricted property will list their property. So it's also a resource for if you're looking for a resale property in the city of Boston. It does also sometimes include other lotteries outside the city of Boston, but it will be identified and it'll give you the contact list and information for lotteries that you might see there. Because as Christine and Sandra have said, most other lotteries, you apply for each lottery individually and separately. You would have to apply to multiple lotteries. So that's the difference with the NHI program.
There's also the CHAPA's website has them across the state as well, lotteries outside of the city of Boston.
Yeah. CHAPA is just chapa.org, and you can get on their list as well.
Mm-hmm.
You say Chapper?
Yep, chapa.org.
Okay.
This is Jillian again. I have a follow-up question for that. So the website, the boston.gov/housing-lottery-applications, if you apply to a one-off lottery there, that's not entering you in the NHI, or that's just a one-off lottery?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
We have our own. And you'll find that application on homecenter.boston.gov.
Jillian, just keep in mind, our program is called Neighborhood Initiatives Program. So if you get the application for Neighborhood Initiative Program, NHI, yes, that would allow you to be in all of the lotteries that we have up to a year once we find you eligible. I don't know if the Boston one has BPDA or if it's the one that's directly to us. But homecenter.boston.gov has the NHI application, which has the capability of giving you a year's time in all our lotteries.
Jillian, have you taken your first time homebuyer class yet?
Yep, I have my last one tonight.
Oh, okay. Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no chat questions coming in. Stephanie, you also asked about mortgage, and Renee touched a little bit on that. Did anybody have another question?
Hello?
Any clarification or?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Hello?
caller.
Yep,
Yes, we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, I have a question. I've been in this program. I've been waiting for, let's say, about a year now. I've been qualified, but I don't know how long my procedure will be. I don't know how long it's gonna be because I receive it like before I receive the numbers. Now I receive another numbers. So how long you think this process will be, please?
So
Well,
unfortunately, it's just like any other lottery. So, you know, it's some of it is based on luck. Each time you're in a lottery, you will get a different number. And again, depending on the preferences, the list is then ranked based on those preferences. So there's the Boston residency preference and the household size preference. And then there can be two different income categories, you know, depending on which income category you're in. Some properties are only for people in one category. The other thing to keep in mind, we always recommend that people provide us with both a single and a two-family pre-approval, because if you only provide us with one, we're only going to include you in the lotteries for that one type. So if you provide us with a single-family pre-approval, you would not be included in a two-family pre-approval. So I always recommend you provide us both types of pre-approvals. That gives you more opportunities, and as Christine said, we don't care if you say no to us. If this isn't the right property for you, if you're given an opportunity and you say no, it doesn't impact your ability to participate in future lotteries. Each lottery is a separate ranking, a separate number that you get each time. So it's very hard to say. Some people, you know, their first or second lottery, they're lucky. Other people, you know, they could be in there a while.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Let me piggyback on that for a moment, please. So it is gambling, if you will, right? It's a lottery. And as Christine said, you know, some people, it happens quickly. Some folks are in there a couple of years. However, I would say this, at the end of the day, this is all run through fair housing. And so it is, you know, above board, and it's done through a process. Back in the day, you know, it would have like the bingo balls and would roll it, and people felt that wasn't, you know, a fair and equitable way. Maybe we didn't turn it enough. This is all done electronically. It's recorded, especially now that we're doing the lotteries virtual. And so this really is a very tight program, and it just happens to be the luck of the draw.
Okay. So, by the way, I forgot to mention my name. My name is Owik Elieset. I'm a Boston resident, but I forgot to mention that to you earlier. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's quite all right. We appreciate you being on the call this evening. That's why, you know, you're also touching on something else that we've been talking about a little bit here, is on the Boston Home Center webpage, there is a link for the Metro list. If folks are not receiving that, pretty confident it's still going out weekly. It's all rental and homeownership opportunities in and outside the city of Boston. So, you know, again, sign up for that. That will have other lotteries. And I always say to people, you know, might as well find out what's out there to sign up for what you can. And then ultimately that goal will be reached.
Because I've been qualified for a two-family house since last year.
Okay.
So it's
Have
like
you been looking
a
at it in the market as well?
in Boston, yes, but I think it's Boston might take it longer. That's how I was thinking, because I would love to be in Boston, but because I've been waiting so long, I don't know if by any chance if I have to move out of Boston, which is I don't like it though, but I think I don't know, because I've been waiting so long. So
Right.
there's any suggestion there's any advice that you can give me? Because if the process is gonna take long, please.
Well, the process is the process. One of the other obstacles we have right now is COVID-19 construction and stuff, but that is moving forward again. And so we can't answer that question for you, because you have to do, like Christine was saying earlier, what's best for you and your family to meet safety and health, right?
Yes.
And so the Metro list would be the only thing I could recommend to take a look at, because it's all of the affordable units. And then you'll have more information to decide what's best for you and your family. But we are not in a position to tell anybody what to do.
I'm sorry, do you have some Radiant Metro West right now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again, please?
Do you have some houses ready right now at the Metro West right now?
On the Metro list, all of the affordable units would be listed there. And when you sign up for that, I believe it still comes out weekly, and that comes through our another agency under the Department of Neighborhood, is the Office of Housing Stability, and they keep
Okay.
that up to date because that goes through fair housing as well. So the goal is to get you as much information so you can make a decision that's best for you and your family.
I understand. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But again, if you only have a two-family pre-approval, I would recommend you get a single-family pre-approval because we do tend to build more of them because they're less expensive to build. So there are less two-family opportunities.
So okay, so get another pre-approval for one family also.
Yes.
Okay, I will talk. Okay, I will talk to my lady. Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
So if I have one
And
for two families, it's not gonna work for one. If I want to like shift it
Right.
for one, there's no way I can do it. I have to get another pre-approval, right?
Right, because
Yeah.
what you can afford for a two-family includes rental income, so it increases the amount that you can afford. So we need to see a separate letter that specifies what you can afford for a single family, because there'd be no rental income.
Okay,
So-
so if
so
I
let's
get,
talk-
if I, so I'm sorry, if I go get another pre-approval, do I have to go back again to this, like to the process again, or just
No,
send the
you
pre-approval?
could just email the pre-approval to us.
Okay, okay, I'll do it.
Okay, great.
So one of the things we talked about at the beginning was the fact that in our lotteries, we have 1, 2s, and condos. And so if you want to be included in all of them, like Christine said, the two-family, you're qualified using rental income. On the single, that's a different form of homeownership. Just like a condominium is a different form of homeownership because you have a condo fee. So
Okay.
that's kind of where that is. If you want to send the updated letter, that's great when your loan officer provides it. That way we'll recognize that. If your application is over a year old, we'll be looking to update those. And, you know, just start the conversation with whoever you were working with on the team. And if you forget who you were working with, just send the Boston Home Center an email and we'll respond.
Okay, I know she's been nice with me. I know I've been working with Sandra. She's very nice, but you know.
Oh, yes, you have, Owen.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you have been working with me.
Is it Sandra here?
Yes, it's me. You can send the information to me.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm glad to hear from you, though. It's been a while. Everything's okay. I hope you stay healthy. You're safe out there, though.
Same to you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
For
welcome.
anybody that is, I'm sorry, Sandra. So for
No, you're
anybody that joined us late or didn't hear the introduction, we have from the City of Boston, Department of Neighborhood Development, Boston Home Center, Christine McCrory, Senior Program Manager. We have Sandra Carrera, Program Manager, Jeff Alkins, Program Manager, and my name is Christine Sullivan, Program Manager. And we have a guest speaker, Renee Owens, who came to represent the mortgage side. She's a loan officer over at Rockland Trust. I forgot that people that joined later so you might not have heard our introduction.
Okay.
Any other questions? Did you get the questions answered that you needed? Do you have more questions? Stephanie, you had the ones about down payment and mortgage. Did we address that for you?
So I came late. I didn't know about this when you mentioned the one. I heard it's gonna come next month, but I didn't hear about it earlier.
Okay. One of
I
the
came
goals I
late.
would
I'm
say,
sorry.
one of the goals for you, it sounds like, is to get Sandra that other letter and also sign up for the Metro list.
Okay. But I'm still gonna keep the other one, whatever's coming up first, so I get it, right?
I don't understand whatever comes up first, you get it.
So, okay,
I
I
don't
would,
understand.
which is I have my for two family. If it's coming up, still I can get it, even though I send the other one for one family house. I'm still gonna be, you know, in the same process for whatever's coming up.
That's
What
correct.
we
We
will do,
include you in both.
I'm
we
sorry.
will include you. We will include you in both.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you. That's good.
You're welcome. Do we have other questions? There's nothing on the chat. Does anybody have anything else? Looks like a lot of people are muted. So if you have a question, you can unmute yourself.
This is Jillian again. I just have a follow-up from the earlier question. So if you apply for a mortgage pre-approval to enter into the NHI lottery and then win a different lottery, but after the pre-approval expires, does it sort of tie your hands? Because I know you're not supposed to get hard checks on your credit too often.
Okay,
I
that's a great
I can
question.
answer that.
One,
Uh,
one
So
of
for us, Jillian, just keep in mind that our application, once we find you eligible, is good for a year. So for that year's time, we wouldn't be asking you to update your pre-approval unless we offer you a property during that time. If we offer you a property during that time, we just want to make sure that you're still bankable. But again, that goes to other agencies. You check with them what their protocol is. But for us, for a period of 1 year, we're going to include you in whatever lottery we have, and we're not going to ask you to update anything until after that year is over.
No, but I think she's saying if some other lottery requires her to get an updated pre-approval and it's 4 months after she got it. Renee, I guess she's kind of, I think it's more, what might that impact be on her credit report, or how would that impact her?
Is that what you
Well,
meant,
we
Jillian?
would,
That is sort of what I meant, just because they're lotteries and it's not certain whether you would get one with its NHI or with a different lottery. If applying for one would then, exactly what you said, 4 months down the line, if you wanted to apply for another and the pre-approval had expired, if that would negatively impact the chances of getting another pre-approval or my credit score.
no, it will not. If your letter has expired, then that means it's over 90 days. We don't like to pull the credit if it's within the 90-day period because there's no need. Your credit report is good for 90 days, for 3 months. So if it's after that time period, then we will pull another credit and we will issue you a new letter for another 90 days.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll update your file. I mean, we would ask for updated bank statements and pay stubs as well.
Jillian, a lot of these other lotteries, they don't require as much documentation as we do. So for most of them, you need just the basics to get in. They wouldn't really ask you for a pre-approval at that point. They would ask for it if they think they might offer you something. But to get into the lotteries, a lot of them, you don't need it.
That is so true because some lotteries, their applications are only 2 pages. And then when they offer you a property, they typically give you only 5 to 7 days to submit everything and a pre-approval. So each lottery is definitely done completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Can I backtrack for a moment on something that was brought up? Christine brought up CHAPA. So Stephanie or whoever had asked the question, if you needed more information, CHAPA stands for Citizens Housing and Planning Association. So again, CHAPA, CHAPA, Citizens Housing and Planning Association.
So I have a question now. I'm sorry. Hello?
That's okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so
we're here.
my pre-approval about to be 1 year now, so I have to renew it, right? I'm glad I have Rainy on the line right now, so is it Rainy here, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
how you doing?
I'm good. Who's this?
Always.
Oh,
Always.
hi.
How you doing? I'm good to hear from you, though. I think I might have to update my pre-approval right now because it's about to be a year now.
If you'd like, you can.
Yeah.
Give me a ring
I'm
in
gonna have
the morning.
So I have to make an appointment to come to see you pretty soon, though. When you will be available?
I'm in the office every day.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I think I might have to update it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
For those-
Thank you for it.
For those of you on the phone, there was a question. I'm wondering where I can start looking to build my team to start home buying process. I responded by saying homecenter.boston.gov. We do work with some participating realtors, and then normally at our events that have been postponed for the present, but a loan officer can assist with that. They will recommend at least 3. Then we had somebody else asking about the One Plus Boston Mortgage. Sandra and I both responded, stating that it's supposed to be sometime in June. Keep an eye on our website or any announcements, but it's not here yet. So those were the 2 ones we were talking about. Okay. Well, it's 6:15. We have a couple of more minutes before we have to, we lose our meeting time here. When we have, oh, Sandra responded again, only in a different way, saying, you know, when we do have these events, the realtors, the lenders, and team members are always there to give you a list. And Jillian has a question: how long does it typically take to get a pre-approved from mortgage? Renee, would you like to answer that? I know you can only speak on behalf of what your company does.
That is true. Right now, normal time frame typically would be about 72 hours. But with things the way they are right now, we're averaging about 5 days.
Okay. Stephanie wants to know, what is One Mortgage Plus? Would like to take that call? Christine, I don't have enough information to speak on it. And Renee, I don't know if your company is participating.
We're participating in the second round.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it's a new mortgage product. I really don't have all the details as well, but it's going to be through the Mass Housing Partnership. It's for Boston residents, and it's going to be probably provide some additional funds for buyers, larger amounts for down payment and closing costs. I'm not sure of the exact amounts. I think it's up to 50,000. So there are requirements. As I said, once they announce it, it'll be, you know, to keep your eye open. It'll be on the Boston Home Center website. But it's being designed to help because of the prices in this market, to give lower moderate buyers a little bit of a boost and expand their buying power in the city of Boston.
One of
Lower
the things,
interest rates, and a couple of lenders who are going to be participating from our participating lender group.
great, thank you, Christine. So Stephanie, the reality of it is that the mayor and his team and the Boston Home Center and our deputy in chief, they're always looking for ways to assist first-time homebuyers. This was in the works long before COVID-19. So just so you're aware, that folks are always looking at you know, incomes and housing and how to help the first-time homebuyers that are low and moderate. So you're asking another question coming up. Is it a good time to buy a house during this time that you know of? Well, the reality is any time is a good time to buy a house if it's the right situation and the right property. We can't answer that question blanketly. What we can let you know, though, is that new mortgage product Christine and Sandra had put up on the chat, and Renee talked a little bit about, is helping first-time home buyers. So when that program comes out, that'll be there. Interest rates are low, but for us, any of us, it would be irresponsible to just say, yes, for you in particular, it's now time to buy a good home. I think when you start finding the facts and finding the properties and investigating what's best for you and your family, you'll come to that determination on your own.
The other thing I just want to point out is that they should never be shy with asking questions. Even if they think, and a lot of times I'm sorry?
I was saying that's a great reminder, Renee.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm sitting with customers and we're going over mortgage products and programs, and they're hesitant to ask a question because they think, oh, I think it's a stupid question. 99% of the time, it's not. You should feel comfortable with whom you're dealing with, and you should be very comfortable with asking any kind of question. There is always going to be an answer.
We have a question saying, is there more information online about the One Plus mortgage? It actually had been announced about a year ago or so. You might find it on Mass Housing Partnerships website. And we will be putting more when we know for sure what the city's role will be in. There's another question that came up, or maybe just a little bit of a statement. Yes, it can be frustrating if you're not a resident of the city of Boston. But I will say this, our lottery program has a Boston preference, but any town that anybody lives in presently, they typically are going to have a preference as well. Number two, the high cost of living in the city, that I'm not saying this is a reward, because people still have to be able to figure out, their mortgage and their financing, but it's a benefit, if you will, for folks that want to stay in the home. I mean, we got this funding, or actually purchase a home in the city where they already work or where they already may be paying rent. But I will say down payment and or closing costs, you do not have to be a resident presently to be able to use that program. And that we find a little bit more user-friendly for the up to 120% moderate income. Sandra addressed it again too, just reminding folks that the Metro list is a great tool for people as well. Any other questions before we wrap up? Really can't thank you enough all for being here this evening. The team was really excited about getting together with you and trying to figure out, how to best work this. Any feedback you want to provide, please just send it to us. This being our first one was I wouldn't say a test run, because you were here with us. So we appreciate that. And obviously with everything going on, we hope your families are healthy. And by all means, continue the conversation with us. If there was anything that you wanted to address right now, does anybody have another question?
I just want to thank you all for everything, and I want to thank you all and stay safe. That's what I want to say now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Message for
Thank
all
you.
of us.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you all for this presentation.
Thank you for coming.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Stay
Thank
healthy.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Renee.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you.